If you don't know the golden rule of paid advertising, you're probably losing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars with your current funnel because you're operating in the wrong state of mind, making decisions with the wrong mental framework. And so in this video, I'm going to break down what the golden rule is, the most common problems we see with people that don't understand how to use this rule effectively, and even if you do understand it, where you typically mess up. Because if all you did was follow this golden rule, you would be able to make decisions with a lot more certainty and you'd scale your business a lot faster, like significantly faster, because most people, like I said, have the wrong mental framework around running paid ads. So the number one problem I see with advertisers, and I've been getting a ton of DMs on stuff like this, I've been talking to some buddies about this as well, is a lot of newer advertisers operate out of fear, meaning they'll run ads for the first time and day one, it won't look the way they want to. So they decide, okay, I'm gonna change something for day two. And then day two, maybe it gets better. They go, awesome. So they let it ride. And then day three, it doesn't look the way they want to. So they go change stuff. And they repeat this cycle of things look good, great, we're gonna keep it the same. Oh, it looks bad. Oh, now we gotta change it. Oh, now it looks great. Now it stagnates. Now it looks bad. And they constantly, what happens is they're constantly changing things. And so things will look really good and they go, awesome, we're gonna keep running ads. And then all of a sudden on a random Tuesday, results just tank. They don't look good. And then the advertiser, the marketer, freaks out and goes, oh, I gotta change things. So they change not just one variable, but 6. And then the next day, it still looks bad. And they go, okay, I gotta change some more stuff. And they change another 4 variables. And then maybe it looks a little bit better. And then they go, oh, it's looking better. Good. Spend more money. And then it starts performing worse again on a random Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it is. So then they change another 4 variables. And they repeat this cycle of constantly being reactive when running paid ads. And you're reactively responding to what the data tells you on a day-to-day, hour-by-hour basis. That is not how this works. I was recently listening to a podcast at the gym the other day, Tom Brady talking about how he would manage a receiver's mentality. If you watch football, you got your quarterback, you got your wide receivers, quarterback throws to the wide receivers. Now, the catch to this, and if you follow football at all, you know that receivers tend to be divas. The reason that this is because of the volatility in the result volume they get on a day-to-day basis. Very similar to paid advertising. Because the way Brady said it is, he said, I promise you, you will get 110 catches as a wide receiver. Over the course of the season, you're going to get 110 catches. I can guarantee you that. However, on game 1, you might get 11. On game 2, you might get 3. On game 3, you might get 0. On game 4, you might get 15. On game 5, you might get 2. And your job as the receiver is to maintain your emotional state over the variability of that position. If you catch 11 balls game 1, you're going to be riding a high. Yeah, that's awesome. I received for 50 yards, 200 yards, best game of my career. And then the next game you get 3. You got to make sure that you stay in the pocket. Like, yeah, it's fine. I'm going to get 110. And then the next day you get 0. You got to stay in the pocket. Because again, you're on a decline. You've been on a decline for 3 days. Of course, you're going to be emotionally all over the place, especially if you're not used to this. Again, you got to sit in that pocket because on day 4, you get 15 targets. And now you had a career high game. Everybody thinks you're the best receiver in the world again. And now you're riding this high. And then the game following, you could hit 2. And that is exactly what paid advertising is, because I can guarantee you that you'll get 110 catches or you'll book 50 calls. Let's say I'm at $50,000 in ad spend. I got a $500 cost per call, 50 calls, something like that. Yeah, you'll book 100 calls. So if I have $50,000 a month in ad spend and I got a $500 cost per call, I'll book 100 calls. Guarantee you, doing that math, you'll book 100 calls. You're not gonna book 3 a day for 30 days. That's not how that's gonna work. It's not gonna be a consistent thing. Again, it's gonna be just like how the receiver worked. You're gonna do 11, then 3, then 0, then 15, then 2. And as a business owner and the advertiser, you've got to maintain that level-headedness. And so that's the number one problem I see, is people are just making decisions way too fast. And so in paid ads, our general rule of thumb is $1,500 in ad spend per test cycle. Now, is this a hard set rule? No. Do not look at this and go, okay, I need to spend this much, and then go blaming me because you followed this rule in a video. I don't understand the context of your business. I don't understand your average order value. I don't understand your average CPA, your cost per call. I don't understand any of the metrics. This is a general rule of thumb to follow. It's $1,500. Now, if I'm spending $1,500 a day, I'm gonna let it go for 3 days or 2 days. So I have the time data because it could be a certain day. If you're running $1,500 on July 4th, yeah, no shit, your cost per result's gonna go up. It's a holiday. What do we expect? So again, do not take this with a grain of salt. That's the other thing with ads, is everything is worked back from the math. Do the math. How many conversions do I need at a certain CPA to justify X amount in test cycle spend? That's it. That's all we're doing. So to pull back, the 2 biggest problems I see are, number 1, way too scatterbrained. You're getting way too emotional. You're getting way too tied up in the results. You're changing stuff as soon as it comes to front of mind, and it kills performance. Do not do that. Number 2, in order to avoid this, set a boundary or set an amount you want to spend per the test and make sure that that number is set based on the math. We do it based off a $1,500 test cycle. But if we were booking $1,000 calls, that's not going to fly. If we were selling an ecom product and had a $20 CPA, maybe I could get away with $800. But again, what I'm not going to do is follow this arbitrary number I just put in front of you, because this is a good rule of thumb we follow based off the businesses that we work with. I'm not going to pick some arbitrary number. I'm not going to be super scatterbrained and be a receiver diva. And I'm going to work everything back from the math. Those are like my two big ones when you first get started, is make sure you're following those rules. Now, the last problem I see, and I find it funny that this is a problem in the first place, is let's say you're at a 6 to 12x return on your ad spend. If you're sitting at this ROAS, why are you trying to change things? Why are you trying to improve your funnel? If you're at a 6x, I don't care what business model you run. If you're not profitable at a 6x, you got to fix something with the back end. Something's broken, because a 6x is absurd. Most businesses we work with, on a good week, we're looking for a 4x. On average, a 2.5 to a 3x. That allows us to push up spend. Because what you do not want to do is fall into this trap of over-optimizing. I see so many business owners and newer advertisers over-optimizing, where, oh, my opt-in rate is at 10%. I need to fix this before I can scale. Not true, dude. You're at a 12x ROAS. You just need to spend more money. I don't care what the downstream effects of your funnel look like. My favorite example of this is we have a client that we've been working with for a little over a year now, I think. Something like that. It runs a live event once a year, really big, like 110 tickets are being sold in person. Really cool thing to go to. I went last year. And when he first brought this up, he's like, hey, can you run the ads for the event? I said, yeah, sure. What do you got? What'd you guys do last time? So he gave me the ads, he gave me the funnel, and I looked at both of these things and I went, oh my God, these are disgusting. These are ugly. There's no way they convert, blah, 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 blah. But before I committed to rebuilding everything and rescripting everything, I asked him one question, one very simple question. What is the ROAS? His response was an 8 to 11x. So what did I do? I didn't change a damn thing, and I ran it again. And that is the golden rule of paid ads. If what you're doing is working, if you have a high return on your ad spend, you have one job, one single job, spend more. If your business can operate at those margins, if your ROAS is at a point where you're good to go, I don't care if everything else in that funnel is broken. What does that even mean? It's working. You have a high ROAS. How is it broken? It's not. If you have a high ROAS, spend more money. It's that simple. It is genuinely that simple. That is the golden rule of paid ads. Is if it is working, all you do is don't change anything and spend more money. And that's it. And then the second that you see it start to dip below what you need to be profitable, that is when you go figuring out what needs to be fixed. But here's what you're not going to do, because here's where a lot of people freak out, is they watch as they spend more money. They watch their ROAS go from a 6x down to a 3x. And they go, oh my God, it's not a 6x. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I got to change it back. No. Not true. Not true. Because ROAS naturally contracts as you spend more money. You start to sell people that are not in your in-market demographic, especially if you're working off an organic audience. Your ROAS naturally contracts. Yes, you're going to try to solve things along the way, of course, to get that ROAS back up. But what I'm not going to do is stop spending more money unless my business physically can't handle the fulfillment side. Your job as a business owner running paid advertising, if you really want to scale, if that's your goal, to be big, is to just continue spending money until you no longer are at the margin you need to be at, profit-wise, not ROAS. ROAS, to a certain extent, is a vanity metric. It tells you how well your campaign is performing, but it can also hinder the level of scale that you achieve. And so to sum this video up, as an advertiser, you need to do the following. And if you want us to run ads or you're curious to learn more about what could be broken in your funnel, there's going to be a link below. You can book call to speak with us, myself, or a member of the team about having us run your paid ads for you, or just like a consulting basis. Really just depends on what we see as we dive into things. So if you are curious, again, link below. But the big thing with all of this is your job is to get to a ROAS that is healthy. The way that we're going to get there is not by freaking out, doing the math so we understand how much we need to spend to collect the correct amount of data. And then once we do that, go follow the decision-making video. I think it's the decision-making video on this page. All you're going to do is make one change at a time. You're not going to go change 6 things at once. You're just going to change one and then see what it does. And if it does good, awesome. If it does bad, okay, change another thing. But that's it. So again, don't be scatterbrained. Figure out what your test budget is by doing the math. One variable at a time for each test, not a bunch. Once I've done that and I get into a healthy ROAS, all I'm going to do is spend more money. My ROAS will naturally contract. That is fine. I'm going to spend more money. As long as I'm in a healthy margin, I'm going to spend more money. And what I'm not going to do is stop spending to optimize. I'm going to optimize as I spend. And that's it. That's the golden rule, guys. It drives me nuts because I've been talking to a lot of newer guys recently, it seems. And it's a constant influx of how do I fix this? How do I fix that? How do I fix this? And nobody ever asks what's ROAS. So start there. And I got to give a huge shout out to my man, Jeremy Haynes. I went through his master internet marketing course last year. And this was like, you would just yell at people about this. ROAS, 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 ROAS. Asking that question is the most important thing in your decision making. And once you're at a healthy ROAS, all you're looking at is profit. If I can continue to scale and be profitable in a margin I want, I'm going to do it. So I hope this video helps, guys. If you want more content like this, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below what you want to see more of next, and I will see you in the next one.